sorry
morning.
about that.
No worries. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little anxious right now just because I was like,
That's okay. I could feel that coming up. All
I
good.
know you would be able to.
Hey, good morning. So, with this reading, I wanted to share a little bit deeper instead of just like sharing the reading without any sort of discussion about that, because there's so much more to readings than what you might typically just see shared online by other mediums and psychics.
But
Okay.
you spoke to me many times. I found you through Chris, and then I
Nice.
did your workshop, and you spoke about mental health and stuff like that, and I just resonated with you.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. This particular reading, I had never met Sarah. I was very excited to connect with her energy. She felt very open prior to us even becoming face to face on the call. I always do a meditation prior to my readings. I sort of do a channeling session where I try to connect to the energy of my clients and of their loved ones in spirit. And it was quite easy for me to do that with Sarah, which is always a bonus. I know other mediums can agree with that. Part of also why I wanted to share some of this feedback and just sort of openly discuss a little bit more from the behind the scenes perspective of a reading is because I do know that I do have a lot of developing mediums as well in my community. I am still a developing medium. In my opinion, mediums are forever developing for the rest of our lives. There is so much for us to learn from the spirit realm, and then from our own healing as well. Specifically, that you felt called to connect to me for this reading, and specifically.
Well, because you spoke about anxiety and mental health and where you were, um, I'm currently in an in-between world where I can really like I want to do like I'm a Reiki master that is not in practice, but I'm starting to get back into that.
Good.
I'm working a corporate job in diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you hear my cat scratching, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm kind of in this world of like, I'm feeling a lot more tapped in, but then I can feel all of this old shit just coming up.
mhm.
And yeah, I'm just wanting help to navigate this time. I've also gone through some major life changes
Okay.
recently.
So back in the day, it was very common to seek the services of a psychic, a medium, of a seer, of a clairvoyant, someone who could see into the future. I took this really wonderful course with Tony Stockwell, and he shared some insight and some perspective on this, which I really appreciated. But seers were often sought after for guidance for when to plant crops, when to harvest crops, when to bear children, when to marry, which property, which land to buy. It was very common to see your sort of town seer or town psychic. So often people who seek readings, I'm going to say most of us, I mean, all of us are connected to the spirit realm and are quite tapped in on a natural level. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to kind of see beyond and through the kind of inner goings on within our own internal ecosystem from our own inner guidance and our own inner wisdom. Life is so hard and it's really energetically charged up. So sometimes it's difficult to just see the guidance from ourselves because we are constantly guided by our own intuition and by spirits in the other realm, our own loved ones, and then just our own spirit team, our guides, our guardians, our angels. So I really love that this is becoming a lot more normalized, that people are more tapped in, more in tune with the spirit realm, and seeking guidance and assistance from developing mediums and psychics to help sort of guide them on their path. So there's quite a bit of energy. Just to explain a little bit how my readings work, because every psychic and medium work very differently. I do a little bit of a channeling trance meditation prior to our session. I write down whatever comes to me in that session, and then I work with you to confirm what has come up. I also work with oracle cards. I have a couple of decks here, and I've already pulled a couple of cards, and I will likely pull some as we go, um, or as I feel kind of called to.
Yeah.
Usually, my readings are a combination of mediumship and psychic, so some guidance and connection to loved ones, um, and some most with your reading. I can feel that it will be there is some mediumship stuff, but there will be a bit more of a focus on some psychic connecting, just straight soul to soul. Okay.
Great.
Um, so just to confirm a couple things that are coming to me. Also, I don't understand what's coming to me, so I work with
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to make sense of it all. Just a couple random things. Like a giant jawbreaker or gumball. I don't know if that resonates with you. Typically, what I find with most of my readings is a lot of memories surface from loved ones first. So I was shown like a jawbreaker or a gumball. It could just be something that you might have enjoyed as a child, or
I
someone might have.
definitely had those as a kid.
Okay, and might have someone have given you like shit, like you shouldn't be chewing on, you shouldn't have that in your mouth.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
okay, is this someone that's present with us on the earth or has
I
trans?
wouldn't remember. I just remember being very cautious of that.
Okay. Okay, so this jawbreaker thing was like blew my mind after, and then even more because she did send me some follow-up messages about the reading once she was able to sort of process everything, because it can be really overwhelming to get these messages from spirit, and it's sort of like if you had any doubt about connecting to spirit or experiencing the spiritual realm, things paranormal. And then you see a seer and they confirm so much for you that you already naturally experience. That can be like a bit of a mind fuck. Because she sent me a message back following up, and she said, update. Jawbreaker confirmed by my mom that my dad used to be obsessed with them and leave them laying all over the house, and my mom would give him shit. I just love getting confirmation back because, like I said, psychics and mediums, like, we don't understand what we're seeing. So it's so great when we can connect with our clients and just start to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Jelly beans is another thing that's I'm seeing. And I also am seeing like a memory with cotton candy. So it could be like a fair or a carnival that really stands out in your mind with a loved one that's likely transitioned. This feels more like a memory from a loved one that's transitioned.
Man, I don't know. But like, you're right on the sweet tooth, cotton candy. I mean, I have so many memories of that, but nothing that stands out because it's almost like too many, like jelly beans. That's definitely something that was around my grandma and grandpa's house, which they've both transitioned. So, yeah, all of that is just maybe a nod to honestly everyone that I think of that's transitioned.
And then I did receive confirmation back about the memories from the fair. I love when spirit brings up memories because it really shifts the vibration of my clients as they recall these memories. And this is a way of spirit connecting with you. So often I'll have clients be like, I don't feel my loved ones around. I ask for them to show up and they're not showing up for me. How are you expecting for them to show up for you? Because sometimes we expect a lot from spirit, and the way they actually connect with us is so much more subtle than you actually think. So, the fair, the cotton candy, and the animals were something that my mom and dad took me to when I was little. So it was nice to get that confirmation. And then also the confirmation about the jelly beans, because I kept seeing all these little jelly beans. And she said the jelly beans were my mom and grandpa's connection. We all have a sweet tooth, but those two shared a special bond over jelly beans. I love that. And purple flowers like lilacs or tulips or something with purple but floral.
Ugh, that's so weird. Yesterday I put flowers on my altar and I saw this really nice purple carnation for my grandma. And I went to the other store because they didn't have roses that I wanted to lay out for somebody else. And then I wanted to go back and get the purple carnation and I didn't.
And this was for grandma, yes?
Yeah, and she loved flowers.
Okay. So that then I'm gonna move to like a some sort of special blanket. I'm being shown like a, I don't know if it's like a quilt or something that's knitted. Likely something that's the elder would have wrapped you in or would have had around the house a lot. Um, it could be something that you have in possession from your childhood, but they're showing me some sort of special blanket.
I think it might have been something that I made for my grandma. I made her a knitted blanket
Okay.
and she was very like surprised and touched by that.
Okay. So we
I
definitely,
don't have it. I gave it to my cousin because he
that's
wanted.
okay. That's okay. It's just confirmation. So they'll use memories and items and things to confirm who's here, who's coming through the strongest. I will say that because there's multiple energies here, but there are going to be some energies that are going to be a little bit more dominant, and grandma's energy feels very dominant. Um, and who would have drove like the gray car?
Oh, I mean, there was grandparents and cars were weird because they all had different cars at different times,
Mhm.
but some maybe my grandma, that was my grandpa's wife.
And with the emphasis, they're showing me emphasis on the radio in the car. Who would have
Well, my grandma, if yeah, I mean, our family is a family that like always listens to
music?
music.
Yep. So she says, I took another listen. So she shared with me that she had listened to her reading multiple times, which is great. I love this because this is why you get the recording, because so much will come up the more you listen to it. So she said, there was so much I didn't take in the first time. It was like my brain stopped absorbing or something. You were so spot on with so many things. The gray car and the radio was my grandma on my dad's side. And that would be extra significant because she was not a driver. And when my grandpa died, she had to force herself to drive on the highway and in the city to come and see us. I couldn't remember, even though that came to my brain and I didn't trust it. So, again, so wild to get these confirmations. And again, I'm sharing this also for other developing mediums because so often when we're receiving information and our clients aren't able to process it in the moment, we might be met with like, I don't know, I'm not sure, it's not really quite clicking, or just a straight up no. But then they'll re-listen to the audio again and then they're like, wait a minute, that is right, or yes, this makes sense, or yes, there's clarity. So for my developing mediums, do not get discouraged when you're met with a no. I always say to my clients, if something's not clicking or resonating, don't focus on it. We'll just keep kind of rolling through so that you don't get stuck on the energy of the client of the no and get discouraged for the information that's coming through. All the information is there. All the information is there in the ethers, waiting for our awareness to expand to pull it into the physical realm. Were you in the band? Did you play an instrument? Were you in band?
No, but what is coming up?
Like a marching band type? Um,
My dad did. He was a drummer.
that's exactly what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and we have one of his drums from when he did play like yeah, that was his gateway to he didn't continue in that, but he's like an amazing drummer.
This part of the reading was like very strong, very powerful. I don't like using the word overwhelming because it can be used the wrong way, but it was like very powerful. A few things sort of happened in this moment. I realized I wasn't trusting some of my own visions, let me say this, I wasn't being clear with what was coming through for me. And I was having a difficult time identifying what instrument, or it wasn't even the instrument, it was how, I guess because I'm also a musician, so I was trying to understand where the instrument fit in, because what I was seeing was a drum from a marching band, like what's that movie called, Drumline? Like I was seeing a drum like that. So I should have, in hindsight, now we're always learning, just brought up the drum, because that would have been a really clear and strong confirmation. We got the confirmation in the reading, but it would have given me a strong confirmation that it was in fact Dad right from the get-go, because he was a drummer. But either way, we got the confirmation. And once I find too, once the evidence from spirit is confirmed, then the connection with spirit becomes so much stronger, because then my client starts to feel the essence of their loved one. So it becomes a lot easier for me to start to read the information that they present to me. But this was I loved this part of the reading, confirming that Dad was there. So I'm hearing, and it's funny, from just based on what your intro that you kind of shared with me, is that you have sort of like lost your footing. But it's okay. Like it's not, things had to have happened for you to have a different perspective on
Yeah, I feel that.
things. And I am, okay. So, some of the cards that were pulled. Okay, so first I'm going to say definitely need to check in with yourself energetically. The very first card I pulled was cleanse and shield your energy.
And I have been.
And I'm going to kind of bounce around here. So another card that I pulled from two different decks was study. So this is new information that's going to be coming through for you. Too much pressure right now, too much focus right now on trying to find the solution or trying to make sense of the plan. And it's more about focusing on your own and your partner's own frequency. Like, what are you trying to build? And the second card from this deck that I pulled was manifestation, and that's getting a little more clear, like really specific with the manifestation, because it almost feels like with the manifestation work, it's like, yes, you're planning your season, you're calling in the thing that you want, but there's a little bit of fear there. Like it's like you're not quite fully allowing yourself to dive into the things you really want to do. There's some things that are holding you back, and that's confusing the vibration, that's confusing the clarity that you need to make sense of everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I put a lot of energy into this corporate job, so everything else is like secondary. And then, yeah, I feel this guilt of like wanting to leave it, because I'm like,
You put so much into it.
yeah, and I feel like I'm going to be there for a little bit, but like I feel like I'm going to give them the structure and then leave with grace, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, but it's an equal exchange, because you're also getting things from this position as well. That's not quite, the ends haven't quite finished tying up. Like the project is.
Yeah, and I can feel that.
Okay, so I want to share a little bit about now the more psychic part of the reading, because I actually got some really great feedback from Sarah after this session. And it's actually part of what inspired me to shift how I offer my readings and my services. And now I offer the soul reading connection package, which now offers my clients a chance to book a follow-up session with me slash mentorship session so that we can both together unpack the reading, move through clarity from the reading, and move through the information and clarity of the psychic portion of the reading as well for life guidance and insight. I find that I tend to attract clients that are already on a path of self-awareness, self-healing, just elevating where they're at in their lives. They already typically have quite a strong spiritual connection, either on a religious aspect or just in spirituality in general. There's already an awareness of inner shadow work and energy awareness as well. So there tends to be more of a theme with my readings because my focus in general with how I show up is about healing, is about stepping into a place of liberation, and power and coming into your divine essence. There tends to be a general theme with the readings that are very much focused on how I can help you sort of navigate your own spiritual tools and amplify your own intuition. And so Sarah and a few other clients actually have shared that following the reading, they were happy with everything, but there was a different expectation. And I think because there are a lot of psychics and mediums out there that there's smoke and mirrors, they kind of perform for their clients and sort of share what their clients want to hear. Yes, I share that as well, but I also share things that you might need to hear. I often share with my clients that spirit doesn't necessarily tell you in my readings what you want to know, they'll tell you what you need to know. That is a relationship that I have developed with spirit, and that is how my readings are presented to my clients. So I do believe that we are kind of guided to certain teachers, healers, energy workers by spirit. And so if my clients feel drawn or called to connect with me, I do believe that it is part of that nudge from spirit to sort of get to the next chapter. Does that make sense? We're mentioning that you've got all these ideas kind of happening and all these things that you want to study and stuff. Like, if you could just pull everything into just two things, what are those two things?
Well, learning how to connect with spirit on a deeper level, 1000%, that's my first and foremost.
Okay.
And then, it's a tie between, well, I have to do my corporate job. That's just something that I have to do right now.
Yep.
So if that's exempt from it, then it would be putting effort into the business that me and my wife want to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So first then, before all this starts, definitely like major emotional, there's a lot. I know you've mentioned that you work on cleansing your energy and stuff. It feels like it needs to be taken a step deeper. Like there's a lot of energy surrounding your energy. It feels like you are too open.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it feels like you're too open. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I know people in spiritual work, we've all kind of been there because spirit world excites us. And even when we try to set boundaries with spirit, we're still like, oh, but I'm still curious. So you can kind of pop in whenever you want. And that's not actually energetically healthy for us because we still have to have our human experience. I'm going to take the study card actually as studying yourself. I think that the branch that I'm seeing is like you are the tree, you're the knowledge, right? You're the source, and it's a new branch of yourself. And when I'm hearing this, like she's lost the footing, and so it's now like returning back to yourself now.
Yeah. Okay. I
Um,
feel that big time.
yeah, it's great that you've done these the cleanses and stuff in in social situations and connections and stuff like that. Because I do think that that was part of like this finding the footing. Like I get this like missteps kind of things that sort of happened that needed to happen to kind of, like it's like a big dump, a big energy dump kind of thing that's been sort of happening and is not,
Yeah.
it's not finished yet.
No, I know it's not. I wish, but yeah, I can just feel like I feel a lot of like, yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm half in this new life and half in my old shit. I turned 40 last year and it was just like I could feel this huge shift,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yep.
just feels like and then my dad was sick and it just feels like there's this stagnant energy in me.
Yes.
And I've been trying to do with it with spirit, but like, fuck, I know I gotta just get on the ground and just walk and just
Yeah.
be with me.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Who's the, is there someone named Hunter or is there someone who hunts?
No,
Uh, that's transition? No?
no. Oh, my grandpa hunted. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
And sorry, this is Grandma with the Purple Flower husband?
Yeah.
Okay. And then who is there an Alex?
Ugh, that's so weird. My mom and my dad had a baby that passed before it was born, and they were gonna name him Alex.
So he is with uh so everyone sort of everyone has showed up sort of like together. But there's definitely a focus on the two grandparent energy. They are in the care. They have this Alex with them. And then I've got dad over here as well. So these are the dominant energies, okay?
Yeah, and then the grandpa that smoked the pipe though would have been a different grandpa, not a hunter
Uh,
grandpa.
yes. Yes, other side, right?
Mustache. Yeah, so
Dad's
my dad is half Japanese, half Scottish. And
okay.
so the pipe smoker mustache is the Scottish for my dad, and then the grandparents with the flowers and the hunter is my mom's parents.
Great. Okay.
But they were all friends, all
Yes, it definitely feels it's that's but there's it's not overwhelming. Overwhelming is the wrong word, but there's a lot
a
of
lot.
energy. Yeah, and it does feel very like communal. But grandma, grandpa, Alex is they're this sort of merging energy together, and then we've got then we've got dad and grandpa with the pipe. Okay, so connecting to the energy of Alex was very powerful for me. Um, this is not the first time that this has happened in a reading, and it can be quite heavy. But it is also really beautiful because I know for those that have suffered the loss of a young soul, a young human, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and most is I would say that typically one of the most common questions is like if this soul was aware of them, if they, knew that they loved and cared for them. Most often, I have had parents who have named their children that weren't able to make it earthside, but still, offered them a name and a beautiful ceremony as well to celebrate the life that they did have. So this was really powerful moment in this reading to connect to the energy and the soul of Alex and to know that they're together in the spirit world and aware of her parents, aware of Sarah. So that was a really beautiful connection and beautiful moment to tap into. And I'm seeing like a lot of polka dots. Would that have been something that grandma would have worn?
That would have been my other grandma, I
Okay.
think.
And
And
that is
that's my Japanese grandma who's
okay, so
not,
that is the wife of grandpa with the pipe.
yeah,
Perfect. A lot of energy here.
I know. I was wondering about this. uh, Told to do, and I've ignored it. Like it's almost like it's anything grounding, I'm like, like
Mhm.
ignoring.
And so you're getting in your own way.
Yeah, I can feel that so
So
much.
definitely connecting with the earth. That's number one, because connecting with the earth is going to help you connect to yourself. Journaling, though, is going to help to pull focus into all the thoughts. Um, because you are so open, because you are so connected, it's like and again, it's not a bad thing. It's just more of a development type thing and just sort of like calling back your power,
Yeah,
because it's almost like everything's just kind of loosey goosey right now. And you are a very strong healer and you have a very strong connection to spirit. And so it's just like honing that and pulling that in. So journaling is going to help, especially if you can do some more automatic writing type um, exercises. And you can do that specifically when you're wanting to work with spirit, where it's just letting the pen flow. You're not
okay.
questioning
I
anything.
just did that the other day.
get get the logic mind out of the way and just automatic writing. But I'm going to suggest also like a separate journal for the dream work, because it
I just
does
bought one.
perfect. So get that to use, like literally put that at your bedside and try to get into the habit. Instead of reaching for the phone in the morning, reach for the journal first thing.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. And I feel like because I'm not grounding and doing the things that I need to do, and even just like you said, enjoying life, like, I'm starting to like I just signed up for a dance class and blah 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 blah
Right.
blah, like stuff
Yep.
like that. But it's because I'm not doing that. I
Mhm.
literally feel that I'm not getting access to the other shit. Like it's just like, bitch, you're stuck, but it's up to you. Like that's what I feel.
Yeah, and but also like you're not stuck. Like you
Okay.
also
Well,
have to
I
get
just
that.
feel like I've been here so long.
But get that out of your mind, right? Because that
Okay.
thought in itself is actually what's making you feel stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. And we have to be appreciating each level, each chapter, every single aspect is contributing to the divine orchestration of everything else. We have to experience these parts so that we understand what it feels to be like, oh my God, I'm in my fucking power. Yes, this feels amazing. We wouldn't know what that feels like if we didn't know this part.
Yeah,
So try
exactly.
not to have this like, I don't like where I'm at, and be more like, okay, show me why I'm here.
Okay.
Switch that perspective a little
Oh, I
bit,
love that. I love
right?
that.
Because
This shift.
you're in a place for a reason. There's nothing wrong or bad with feeling stuck. It's just a part of the journey. It's just a part of the transition phase. It's like literally thinking about the caterpillar in the cocoon, and right at the end part when he's just about to kind of blossom out, but he's kind of stuck a little bit, and then he emerges out into this beautiful butterfly. So each part is really important because each part holds a significant purpose, right? So in this part where you're feeling stuck, try to see it as just a place where you're getting your perspective and where you're understanding your focus. Okay.
Okay.
Feels like you know everything you need to know. And it's more just about like just sort of doubting your own ability and your own power.
And like
Yeah.
people want to spend time with me and do fun things. And I'm like, no, I don't think I have the energy to go out. You know what I mean? And I kind of am like almost dreading like interacting with people right now. And
Yeah.
I mean, I am in grief. Like my dad died like 4 or 5 months ago. And like, but I think I can kind of start to feel that little kick in the butt, you
Yeah,
know?
from them. Like that's
Yeah,
from them. And like there's no need to rush the grief process and allow grief to move through you the way it needs to move through, but know that the human connections, the human experience is part of what helps our healing. Sometimes we
exactly.
see it as a hindrance because we're like, oh, we have to deal with other people's energies and other people's baggage and other people's emotions. but you're also very control of your own field. You are in control of what's you're allowed to filter in and out. And I think sometimes we forget that because we're just like, oh my God, we're gonna go out in public and I'm gonna feel all these sensations
Mm,
and it's high energy and da 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 da. But you also know exactly how to bring your energy back. You know exactly how to ground your energy. You know exactly how to cleanse your energy. You know what you need to do so that you can enjoy those situations, right?
yes.
Because they are really important for you. And you have to understand too that because you focus so much on shifting these connections, sifting them out, the ones that are left that mean something, there's a reason why they're still there. We
Yeah.
also ask for signs all the time, but we forget about the people that are placed in our lives, that they are signs in themselves. They are vessels for guidance and vessels for connection,
Yes.
right? So still, it's great that you are reserving your energy and sort of focusing on filling your own cup, but it almost feels like your own cup is actually overflowing. Like you need to kind of pour it out a little bit so that you can fill it up in a different way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, I feel that.
allow what you've been pouring into your cup now to kind of pour into the ones that are around you and then fill that back up with the new things that are needed into your cup.
Okay. I like
Okay.
that.
Um, was there a concert or something that you were asked to go to, or some sort of music, something with music, a music festival, or it's like a live band, or the music part? This part with the concert is freaking wild because all of a sudden I got this rush of a concert, a festival, music. I could see lights, I could feel the energy, I could see the crowd. It was so clear and so bold. And it was like this, it's like sometimes I see this sort of like meter or arrow. It's really hard to describe, but it will sometimes either point yes or point no if a client's asking me a question or if something's being presented to me. It's not all the time, but in this case, I was seeing all this stuff and seeing like, yes, like do this. And then she shared with me that while we were in session, she says, my wife had sent me a concert to go to with Snoop, Wiz, and Warren G. My kind of music, by the way. Um, and she said, I would have said no if it wasn't for our session. So we're going with friends. Isn't that crazy? I love it. I love it. I'm gonna maybe like keep your eye open for some concerts in your area that are coming up, or
Okay, okay.
just, it feels like something coming up. So even just keeping your eye open on just things coming up in the community outside, like there's going to be lots,
Okay.
spring fairs and stuff like that. But there's some sort of emphasis on music. I don't know if this is just something that's lacking in your life. That's something that you used to partake in quite a bit.
I did.
And like, because it's just showing like,
I used to go to festivals and stuff.
bring that into try to put that on your human experience goal list, is like experiencing those things that brought you a lot of joy, things that you might have done with your family as well, though, um that you can perhaps just do with your partner or do with your friends. um but music is a big one that's being shown, like not just music, festivals and concerts is a big one that's being shown. So I'm going to take that as part of the human experience stuff to focus on.
Okay, I have been craving like listening to live music.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you know anything about Vancouver, but like some of the shows that they get here are just like not my cup of tea, right? Like I listen to hip hop, I listen to like electronica and like yeah. Also, I'm just like I'm old and I think that's like I have a hard time being in those spaces now. I'm like I wish I could just go and be in a cocoon with the people that I love and not have to deal with like an outhouse or shit like that.
But the thing is that you can experience those things. You're not old. You're
I
not
mean, I just
old,
don't enjoy it like I did when I was 28.
but
You know what I
that's
mean?
okay. That's okay. So take your focus off of that.
Okay,
Take
okay.
your focus off of how it used to look and focus on how it can look. How can you experience these things now in the phase that you're at now?
Yeah, okay.
And try not to just limit yourself just to Vancouver. Take a look at what's playing in Toronto or something, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
take
yeah.
a little
Okay.
flight in for a weekend. Like try, like you're putting limitations on yourself, and try
I
to
am.
look more like you are so limitless. Like you, and like saying like I'm old. Like your body might feel old, but like your soul is like just wants to have fun. So
Yeah.
don't let the thought of like my body is too old limit your soul from experiencing the human experience.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm definitely I'm understanding more.
It's literally just shifting. That's all it is. This whole session, Sarah, is literally just based on shifting perspective. You are exactly where you need to be. Like
Okay.
you are exactly where you need to be. There it's it's not seeking and just allowing things to surface, but having fun with your human experience, with your human self.
And
Your
I like that.
your spiritual connection is unreal. Like you're very strong, you're very open. I don't know if you've had an Akashic reading done
Oh, I was just looking at that.
before, but it feels very much like connecting to. So I'm going to tread lightly with this because when I suggest about connecting to past lives, I don't like people getting too attached to what the past
No,
life was.
I'm not. I'm
But
not.
it's nice to know where you came from to validate some of the experiences that you have in this body.
And cleared
And
out.
yeah, and it feels very much like that is something that would benefit your spiritual journey. Um Specifically in the next year, because it feels like this is the year. Like there's a lot that's shifting within this year. It's been shifting, but sorry, you said you're 40.
Yeah.
So
Turning 41 in June.
by 42 you're going to see a little bit more of like a wrap up of the things that's going to be kind of continuing on through this year. um and it's almost as if you're like creating a new toolbox for yourself, because
Okay,
you've
I love
had
that.
such a big shift in the last year or two. So it's like you're okay, you've got the tools that you've had from the spiritual path leading up to now. And now you've had this like pretty significant shift that's going to keep kind of continuing. So it's like you're sort of doing like an inventory of the tools that you already have and then adding in new tools that's going to really help you to navigate 42. 42 is going to be a big, I don't want to say transition because that's what's happening now, but it's like a click. It's going to be like a big click,
Okay,
like
okay.
things kind of falling into place then. So honestly, focus on the fun and the joy leading up to that, because there's going to be a lot of work in 42. Um, it's not bad. It's just life's gonna look different, a little more structured. So have fun now, while
Yeah.
because adding in the tools while you're having fun, because we learn from joy and we get learn from rest and all that stuff too. So adding in the tools and everything is going to really help you to navigate 42.
That makes sense, especially if we want to start a business. Like, when you start a business, you're busy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's yeah. So what I'm saying, it's going to be a lot of work. It's more about navigating a new experience, like everything's going to be new. So it's not that it's going to be like, oh, I can't do this. It's so hard, overwhelming. It's just going to be like, okay, I need to like get clear with this. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Have fun. And
That's a good invitation. Have
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And know that you've got spirit around you all the time. Like you are so connected to spirit. Everything feels great. Like I said, you know what you need to do. I think this session with them just needed to bring some clarity to that. Um know that your father is very close in spirit to you. as well as grandma. Also,
Those
she,
are the two that I knew would come through the
yeah,
most.
yeah, grandma feels very like spunky,
She
like,
is.
yeah, like soft, but very spunky. Um, so use them as your bridges to spirit as well, and work with the dreams as well. Be intentional with your dreams. Like literally before you go to sleep, be intentional about what you want to see or what clarity you need, what message
Okay.
you need. Record it
Okay.
all
Okay.
because then you can go back to it, and when you pinpoint and focus on certain things, you'll go right back to that place and you'll be able to explore that place a little bit more just through your own spiritual consciousness.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just got chills. Honestly, Christiane, thank you so much
Oh,
for
it's my
everything.
pleasure. It was so
I
nice.
really, really resonated a lot with what you said, and I'm so grateful for you,
Thank
and
you.
I'll definitely get in touch soon for spiritual mentorship.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Can't wait. I'll send you
Okay.
this audio within 24 hours, okay? For
Okay. Yeah. No
recording of
rush.
it. Cool.
Okay. Great. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Sarah.
Bye.
Bye. So I hope that brought a little bit of just clarity and understanding, a little just some behind the scenes stuff, because I do get a lot of questions like how information shows up, what is said, what I feel, what to do with the information. So I hope this brought a little bit of clarity, and I hope to bring some more videos similar in nature to this, just to bring a different understanding and a different perspective to how readings and connecting to spirit works and how it looks. Um, I'm just so in this space of awe when it comes to connecting with spirit, and all the development circles that I've been a part of and the mentorship sessions with my teachers and stuff during my development, because like I said, I'm continuing to develop, and I just continue to be just completely mind blown with what is actually possible in terms of connecting to spirit. And there are so many gifted readers. It truly is an art form that I just genuinely appreciate so much. And I love that so many of you all are also moving it from the place of skepticism into just open awareness uh, and curiosity. So I hope that brought you some clarity and was just fun to tap into. Thank you so much, Sarah, for allowing me to connect with your energy and the loved ones in spirit, and for allowing me to share this with the community as well.